Hey folks, we're at DCRainmaker.com here today with the new Garmin Forerunner 45 GPS watch. Now this is Garmin's least expensive offering of the day. In terms of new things they announced today, they announced the 45 here, which cost $200, $199. They announced the 245, which cost $299 or $349 with music, and they also announced the $599 Garmin Forerunner 945, which also has music on it. But this video is all about this little thing here, and this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. This is simply a standard media loaner unit. I'll send it back here shortly and go ahead and get my own just like everyone else. Now, if you want full details on this, way more than I can possibly fit in this video, check out my full in-depth review description link down there somewhere. And what you see on the screen here is what that review is. So it's super, super long. Okay, so for this video, I'm gonna run through these 9 new things. Then after that, we're gonna use the watch itself. I'm just gonna kind of talk through like some of the features, how it works, user interface, just to give you like a bit of an explainer of how this thing works like as you're actually using it. So with that, let's go ahead and dive right into it with number 1 on the list, which is the fact that there are actually 2 versions of this. There is the Forerunner 45 and the Forerunner 45S. S standing for small or slim or smaller. So the 45S includes a 39mm watch versus the 45 is a 42mm watch. They're the same price though, the same screen. It's just simply the bezels get bigger on the 42. Next on the list is something that you've already seen but may not necessarily realize, which is the fact that it's a round face. And I know that sounds like stupid and obvious, but this is actually the first time Garmin's done a round watch face at this price point. If you look at the past Forerunner like 15, 20, 25, 30, 30, 30, 35, like all those watches were all square. For Garmin, round watch faces do better, which again, a lot of the previous ones, the less expensive watches, had minimal buttons, and so you had to like do this wonky button dance all the time, versus this now has 5 buttons. Now, in addition to all that, you can get Connect IQ watch faces on this, which again has never happened at this price point before. Connect IQ is basically Garmin's like third-party development platform, and it allows you to download watch faces. There's thousands of them on the internet onto this watch, or you can even create your own. Like you can put a picture of yourself there or a burrito. Also, last but not least, on this whole like display train that we're on right now, it's always on display. So unlike a Apple Watch or a Fitbit or a Samsung Watch where the display turns off and then only turns on when you raise your wrist, this is always on all the time. Next, probably the biggest like fitness-focused feature of this watch that's new to this watch lineup anyways, is the fact that it now supports structured workouts, which means that you can download workouts from Garmin Connect or create your own on Garmin Connect or download a training program on Garmin Connect and then execute them on this device itself. Running down the road like I was last night with this watch, it'll go ahead and tell you what's coming up. It'll give you a countdown timer from 5 seconds, and then it'll tell you the exact target of what's coming up as well. So you can go through that and kind of get iterated through the entire workout from start to finish, which then gets the next new feature, Garmin Coach. Now Garmin Coach is Garmin's free like training plan thing. So it's adaptive and dynamic, which are fancy buzzword meaning it changes based on you. And it's something that they rolled out, I think about a year ago now, but it's on this watch because of the fact that it supports structured workouts. So the way it works is you tell Garmin what race you want to compete in, and then what your target pace is, up to 7 minutes a mile. That's the fastest they support in this particular watch or in this particular Garmin Coach program, and up to half a marathon distance. Then you go outside to do a 9-minute simple test, and then when you're done with that, it'll basically lay out an entire training plan for you. And you can tell it what days of the week you can run on, you can tell it what days of the week you can't run on, you can tell it what days of the week you want your long run on. It's kind of impressive stuff. If you're liking this video, go ahead and whack that like button at the bottom there. If you're finding it useful, interesting, you're learning something, whack that like button. It really helps with the video and the channel quite a bit. So the next feature after that is the new Garmin safety features. Now this is for both incident detection and safety assistance. I'm kind of gonna grump them? I'm going to kind of lump the two of them together. Instant detection is when you do something like crash your bike or collapse while you're running. It'll go ahead and detect that event and send it to a predefined emergency contact list. So you set that up inside the app itself. It's then on the device. Your device does have to be near your phone or within range of your phone to trigger this because there is no cellular in this thing itself. So it has to be nearby there. But it sends that off and it gives the location of the incident, and then it starts a live track link, which means that your friends and family can follow you in the ambulance or whatever else it may be. In the case of safety assistance, they take the kind of the same function of that, but they apply it to scenarios where you may feel like someone creepy is trying to follow you. In that case, you can go ahead and press a button here, and it'll go ahead and trigger the safety assistance feature, which uses a pre-canned message that you've set up to your friends and family, telling them something as simple as, hey, I've got a creepy person following me, keep an eye on me. And it starts off a live track link where they can follow you, and you can decide what to do from there. Next, from a battery standpoint, this has 13 hours of GPS performance battery-wise. It's using the new Sony chipset like all the other Garmin wearables and all the Garmin devices from 2019. 7 days in standby mode, so that's including the 24/7 optical heart rate on the back data, as well as activity tracking data and smartphone notifications. So if you turn off all those things, then you'll get quite a bit more battery life out of it. And that's pretty much in line with all the rest of Garmin's wearables. They tend to be between 7 and like 14 days of battery life. And again, always on display as well. Next is the addition of the stress tracking and body battery features. This is something we saw Garmin introduce to some of their mid-range wearables about a year or so ago. Stress tracking does pretty much exactly what it implies. It tracks your stress throughout the day, and I find it reasonably accurate. When I go to stressful situations, I can see that spike in the inverse as well. And also body battery, which is sort of like Street Fighter style, where it goes ahead and it tells you how much energy you have over the course of the day. You start off at roughly 100%, assuming you slept pretty well the night before. And then throughout the day, if you run, the body battery degrades quicker. If you sit on a couch, you can actually gain body battery back. It's cool. Like, it roughly matches what I feel like. Now, I can't like scientifically, from an accuracy standpoint, prove or disprove that. But like the gut check of, is it working? Yeah, it roughly matches what I'm feeling, which I think is all you're really looking for in this feature. Last but not least, on the new stuff, before we dive into the watch itself, it does have some new sport modes, actually a bunch of new sport modes, versus in the past, it was pretty much like run, bike, walk. And now there's a bunch of modes that you can add to this. And then in conjunction with that, it also supports Bluetooth smart sensors. So in the past, it always supported ANT+ sensors, but now you have Bluetooth smart sensors as well. So you can use either or in the case of running foot pods, heart rate straps, or speed and cadence sensors for your bike. Okay, with that, we're gonna do a quick hands-on walkthrough of this itself. Nothing fancy, just kind of wanna walk through the menus, what it looks like. Okay, here we are on the watch face itself. Now you can't change some of these to different stock ones. You do that by just simply holding down this middle button right there. Watch face, and then you can just simply iterate through these. Now, unlike the higher end watches, you can't like fully customize them, but you can go ahead and apply an accent color to it. More than likely though, if you want to customize these, you're probably better off going to the Garmin Connect IQ store and then just simply picking the watch faces you want there, applying your own watch faces, make your own watch faces, whatever you kind of want. So on the left-hand side, we'll go down to the widgets. So this little button right there, and go up or down. So you can see right here is my heart rate, stress level, body battery. I can tap into this. This was earlier a couple hours ago, and then I've been shooting stuff right there, so there's no heart rate right there. And it's measuring on the back using the optical sensor that you see right there, just turned off automatically as soon as you kind of remove it from your skin. It'll go ahead and measure stress there after a number of seconds. Going down again, you can see the body battery. So I've started off a bit lower the last 4 hours, and then kind of gained a little bit right there. I think that was like eating lunch or something. And then down here, it's just been kind of steady and hasn't really gone up or down too much the last few hours. Going down to some of the other health stats, we got the My Day totals. So you can see I did a cardio workout earlier this morning, about 50 minutes right there. And then some of the other stats like 4,098 steps. I can crack into this and I can look at what's going on there on that list just by some of the different widgets right there. So you can see I'm just short of my goal steps for the day of 4,300, which I know is pretty low, just kind of the automatic setting here. Going back through the widgets again here, notice notification widget, the weather widget, history, my most recent run right there, a schedule, and this shows like the red is actually the scheduled workouts, and this is just things on my calendar, and then the Garmin coach there as well once you get that all configured. So if you're ready to run, you go and tap this top right button right there, and that'll go ahead and it'll ask you, do you want to do the workout that's already scheduled? In this case, it's a bike workout. I could choose to do that. I could view that workout if I wanted to, and you can see the structural workout that this thing has created for me automatically. Or I go down to the bottom and simply skip that workout, and now I have the sport mode selection. So I've got run, treadmill, bike, walk, cardio, and then I can add other sports using the Garmin Connect mobile app. Going back to the top there, I'll tap run. At this point, I'll go ahead and often find GPS. If I'm outside, I'll do that pretty quickly. Inside, it might take a long time, but that's all right. We'll go ahead and just down once more, and you can see there's the workout option. So again, I can do intervals on the fly in this unit. So I just go in here and I can edit parts of the intervals. For example, the interval work portion, the rest portion, the number of repeats, the warm up and the cool down. Or I can go back here to my structural workouts. These are things I've created myself or otherwise downloaded to the unit itself. So you can see right here, this one, my warm up, my run. The target for that is a 1/4 mile, and then there's a pace below it, recovery, repeats, and then again, in the next section of the workout, recovery, repeats, and then finally the cool down there. There's a training calendar. So if I have things scheduled there, you can see them right there. So Saturday, today, tomorrow, etc. These are things that are on my Garmin Connect calendar that you can go ahead and use some of their structured training programs, and they're all free to go ahead and put them on there. Data screens, this is where I can customize data screens. You can see some of these kind of basic ones there, and I can tweak them. So I can go up here and I can say, this one here, heart rate zone, let's change that out for something else, average pace, for example, and then go back there and then you'll see it right there. You can do up to 3 metrics per page. Going down, there's alerts. You can go ahead and add different alerts, heart rate, run walk, time, distance, calories. In the case of run walk alerts, those are time-based ones, so not distance-based ones, but time-based ones. And then swinging on back, there is the ability to do automatic laps based on either miles or kilometers, depending on what your watch is set for, or simply press the lap key, which is down the bottom right here, and that'll go ahead and mark a lap automatically. There's auto pause, and then last but not least, the GPS settings to go ahead and change those from GLONASS to Galileo. At this point, Garmin's recommending GPS plus GLONASS. That's what they said they've done the most testing on. So I'd probably just leave it there for right now. I've seen good luck with Galileo on other watches, but not as much on this particular watch. And then once you're ready to go, you just simply press this button right there, and then you can go ahead and see those same data pages that we configured earlier as you go through this. Now, it does show the title of the data page, and it kind of stays a long time, a little longer for my preferences, but this way you can kind of figure out what they are because there's no labels on the individual pages themselves. Once you're done with the workout, you just go ahead and stop it. It'll give you a bit of a summary page as well, and then it'll go ahead and automatically save that off to Garmin Connect and then on to any third-party sites like Strava or Training Peaks or MyFitnessPal. Whatever you got, it'll go ahead and push it up to there. Okay, there you go, a complete look at the new Garmin Forerunner 45. So far, this is a great little watch. Like, this has all the core data that I would typically need to run with. I can configure the data pages roughly the way I want them to. My only nit with this would be I prefer 4 data fields per page, and this maxes out at 3. Now, the challenge that I think Garmin has is that this is $199, and as of today, the Apple Watch is also $199. Now, it's not on Apple's site $199, but it is on like Best Buy and Walmart and things like that. And they've been like testing this for the last 3 or 4 months. It kind of drops down to $199, back up to $279, and so on. Apple themselves hasn't dropped it to $199, but like the writing's on the wall. And when they do that, and this is for the Apple Watch Series 3, which I know is like last year's model, but nobody cares. Like, that is a full-featured GPS watch with music, with all these other features that this doesn't have. So the question you kind of have to ask yourself is, what do you want out of the watch? If you want something that's super sport-focused and the entire platform and ecosystem behind it is sport-focused, the Garmin's the better bet. Versus if you want something that's more lifestyle, lots of options, lots of really pretty apps, and be able to look at Instagram photos on it, the Apple Watch or whatever else is probably a better option. They're different things. Like, to say one is better than the other doesn't really make sense. You got to kind of figure out what you want out of it and then decide what makes the most sense, which is like most things in life, I think. Like, things aren't usually all that black and white. To help you figure that out, though, I got plenty of reviews. I got reviews on this watch, on the Apple Watch. I got things like, you'll see stuff on the screen, just click it. There's a review down below with all the accuracy on this watch. Just keep clicking, like, and maybe the like button, the subscribe button, the ding dong bell. Just click away. With that, have a good one. Enjoy.